If you'd like to make your NFL games a little more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's #1 rated sportsbook app. You know why? Because it's American. It's right here, and it's reliable. We love it. We love this show. I love this show. It sure as heck makes watching the games even more interesting, entertaining than they already are. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years, classic journeyman. Really, truly appreciate those of you that follow us on social media. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, it's Facebook. Even have a YouTube page. You can see what I look like and Steve looks like and Brian looks like. Brian actually has a nice fancy shirt on today. YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. When I say Steve, I'm talking Steve Fezzik, the only 2-time winner of the Super Bowl of professional football betting. That's a super contest. A lot of you are familiar with it. It's at the Westgate Casino out there in Vegas. Steve not only won it twice, he won it back to back. Very impressive at Fezzik Sports. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good morning. Happy holidays to you, Ross. One more week to walk around, see all the decorations in the neighborhood.
Exactly right. So like we do every week. I know a lot of other podcasts don't do this. We don't care. We think it's important that you know how we did the week before and that we talk about the lessons we learned or didn't learn and that you keep us honest with how we're doing for the year. It's very important. So last week was week 16. All of these lines, both for the last week in review as well as the games we'll pick today, which is all 16 NFL games in week 17, they all come to us. Lines and totals from DraftKings. There's no other sports book we would use. Vikings and Saints, neither one of us had a bet there, Steve. Bucks, Lions. You took the Lions, getting 9 points for 1 unit. They lost 47-7. Steve, that was one of the worst bets of all time. Congratulations.
Misleading final score. The Lions really lost by more than 40. Just atrocious.
All right. Niners, Cardinals. We both leaned to the Niners. That was a darn good lean. We should have done it. They won it outright, 20-12. Dolphins, Raiders. You went with the over 47.5, Steve. It did not look like you were going to get there until late in that game, my friend. But you cashed those 2 units. Well done.
Yeah, and a lot of the media are criticizing Gruden for playing for the field goal at the end of the game, which was absolutely, he did that beautifully. The screw up was when he did everything wrong after with 19 seconds left. So stop criticizing a coach for doing the right thing, you media guys. It's just ridiculous.
He did do the right thing. You got to get the field goal there. I mean, what are you talking about?
Exactly. We can't even have a conversation. There's experts out there because they lost talking about how Gruden made bad coaching decisions to not get the touchdown.
Stupid. All right. Falcons, Chiefs. My first bet last week, I put a unit on the Falcons getting 11. Man, they should have won the game. I mean, A.J. Terrell drops an interception at the end of the game in the end zone. Mahomes makes them pay. Chiefs win 17-14, but that was a unit for me. Browns, Jets, we had nothing. I leaned Browns. Glad it was only a lean. Giants, Ravens. Man, I thought the Giants would be able to hang with the Ravens. I put a unit on it. That was 27-13. The Ravens won. I was getting 10.5. And, Steve, it really wasn't even as close as that score indicates.
Yeah, Baltimore had the ball on the 1-yard line to end the game, so could easily have won by 21. Daniel Jones has had 1 carry his last 2 games. Year to date, he'd been averaging 5 carries. When he is not a threat to run, he is not the same quarterback.
Bears, Jags, we didn't have anything. Colts, Steelers. We went head to head. The Colts were laying 1.5. I put 2 units on the Colts. You put 1 unit on the Steelers. Now, in fairness, you got the much better of the number because the Colts put Braden Smith on the COVID list, their right tackle. Then Anthony Costanzo shockingly can't play in the game. And their number 3 tackle was already out. So that was what they say very unfortunate for me. However, Steve, it didn't matter. The Colts were still up 24-7. I was feeling great about that 2-unit bet. Great about laying the 1.5, 24-7. It looked like the Steelers still stunk. The Colts were good. I was ready to cash that 2 units, Steve. That comeback by the Steelers hurt.
Yeah, and the Colts early in the year, the defense was really good, and it has absolutely regressed mightily. And when the Steelers failed midway through the third quarter on the goal line, and the Colts had the ball up 17, you might have expected the Steelers to go ahead and say, well, it's not our day. A lot of character from these Steelers.
Next 2 games were both teaser bets for me. Bengals, Texans, and Panthers, Carolina. I had teased Carolina up to plus 8.5. They won the game outright. And then the Bengals, Texans, I had teased the Texans down to minus 2.5. They lost. They lost to the Bengals. They gave up over 500 yards to the Bengals. So what that means is the 2-unit, 2-team teaser Raiders, Panthers cash for me. That was good. The 2-unit, 2-team teaser that you and I both had, Steve, Bears down to minus 1.5, Texans down to minus 2.5. It lost. The Texans blew that for us. So they blew a best bet and cost us both 2 units there. I'm not happy with the Texans right now, Steve.
Yeah, I think Texans have made history. This is the first time I can remember a team had a top 5 quarterback, which they do in Watson, and they're going to win at most 5 games. The only other examples I can think of is Drew Brees had a couple teams that won 7 games. If you have a really good quarterback, it's a lock that you're going to win 7 games unless you're the Houston Texans.
That's an incredible story, Steve. That's a great, great point by you. Next game, Broncos, Chargers. I put a unit on the Broncos getting 3.5. That hook was important to me. I'm glad because they lost by 3, Steve.
Yeah, Chargers, the rare 6-9 team, still playing, excited for their coach, Anthony Lynn. Want him to be back, it appears. And the Chargers, who are the masters at losing the close game, 3 straight close wins last 3 weeks.
Isn't that crazy? They're not going to keep him. They're not going to bring him back, are they?
We're going to have discussion now. What would you put the line on it? I'd say it's close to pick them if they win one more game.
And they're playing a Chiefs team that's not playing their starters. Wow. Unbelievable. It really is. Okay, let's keep it moving. Again, all these lines from DraftKings. You guys know it. If you listen to this show, make sure you're on the DraftKings Sportsbook app and you use our code Tucker. That is the key. Or is it Ross? I got to look that up real quick. That's kind of important. The code is Ross. And by the way, they have awesome 100-1 odds on the college football playoffs this week. 100-1 odds. Put $1 on Bama. Just make sure you use the promo code Ross when you get in on that. All right, Steve. Let's get to Rams Seahawks. Seahawks were laying 2. I had the Rams. Wow, they lost 20-9. Very disappointing interception by Jared Goff. Very disappointing goal line stand. What are you going to do? Cowboys, Packers, we both leaned Eagles. I'm sorry, Cowboys, Eagles, we both leaned Eagles. Wow, that was something. They ended up losing by 20. Titans, Packers. Wow. I was not expecting that, Steve. I got to be honest with you. I thought the snow would help the Titans. Derrick Henry, run the football, getting 3.5 points. 2 units, Titans. They lost 40-14, Steve.
Yeah, team from Tennessee going into Lambeau. Didn't look like they had the right cleats, did it? So all night long, Titans were struggling to get their footing. I think that had a lot to do with it.
Bills, Patriots, Monday Night Football. If you remember, Steve, I really like the Bills here. I laid 6.5. I thought the Bills have been waiting a long time for this. They're going to smoke the Patriots. That's exactly what happened. That one felt good. I was at that game, Steve. So especially since I was 4 units down going into that game, made me feel real good that my Bills came through for me.
Yeah, and the effort level of the Patriots, you really had to question. Once the game got away from them, it was close for a little while. Cam, a tremendous run to get it into the end zone. But bottom line is Patriots can't throw the ball at all. If you're one-dimensional in the NFL, you're not going to be able to score.
Wrapping it up, Steve. For the week, I was -2. You were dead even. You were dead even on your 6 units that you put out there. Year to date, I am up 13 units. You are up 2 units. So we're still not losing people money. Our best bets, 20 and 20. Dead even at 50% on our best bets. Not our best year on our best bets. That is for sure. But we are up year to date. Let's do it. Week 17 in the NFL.
All right, Ross, let's start with you. The first game is the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Cowboys laying 3 points with a total of 45.
Right. I don't think the Giants are playing very well right now, and I think the Cowboys are playing really well. I was impressed by them against the Eagles. I think Andy Dalton's playing better than any quarterback in the NFC East right now. I'm putting 2 units. I don't love that it's exactly 3 points, but I'm putting 2 units on the Cowboys laying the 3 points.
We are going to go opposite. I'm going 2 units on the Giants, and it's all about fading the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have been enormously fortunate the last 3 weeks. They're +9 in turnovers while they're beating the Eagles, while they're beating the Bengals, and the 49ers. So 3 losing teams, 3 mega good turnover games. I refuse to buy into the fact that the Cowboys are suddenly good, and I expect Daniel Jones to be getting a little healthier off of his injuries. This look-ahead line was Giants -3. Now I'm getting 3. I'll take it, Giants.
All right, Steve, the Cleveland Browns are 10-point favorites at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Total is 42.
So 4-point downgrade going to Mason Rudolph versus Big Ben. And then the question is just how much more of a downgrade for all the other Steelers that are going to get rested. My gut says Cleveland wins easily. I'll lean Browns.
Do you think that there's more opportunity in Week 17, Steve, or more stay away with games like this?
More opportunity, especially with player props and the like, and being able to identify certain situations. If you have laser-like focus and you're paying attention, whenever the lines are really moving, then there's more opportunity.
What about, though, do you have to wait until Sunday for some of these?
Well, I think you got to anticipate what's going to happen. Just as an example, you could have had Cleveland -6.5 earlier in the week. So I'm saying that, but I don't have that focus yet. I didn't get a piece of that bet, but I certainly know people that did.
Yeah, I'm going to put 1 unit on Pittsburgh getting 10 points. I think Mason Rudolph's going to come out and play well. I think he is supremely motivated. Brown's still having COVID issues. I like the Steelers plus the 10, 1 unit.
All right, Ross, the Jets and Patriots. New England is laying 3 points at home with a total of 39.
Ooh, mine says 3.5 here on DraftKings. What are you seeing, Steve?
I see no line on DraftKings, and I see 3s pretty much across the board.
That is so interesting. Is the line sometimes different, Steve, based on where you live?
It is certainly possible, yes.
That is fascinating to me. I'm calling the line 3.5 because that's what I'm seeing. I'll take a screenshot of it. We're calling the line 3.5, and I'm putting 2 units on the Jets getting the 3.5. I'm staring at DraftKings right now, and it's Jets plus 3.5, and I'm taking it. I think the Jets have a great chance to win this game outright. They've got some momentum, and the Patriots are in a bad way. 2 units, New York Jets plus the 3.5.
So the Jets have gotten 2 wins, but they certainly were in really good spots. The Rams flat as a pancake. And, of course, we get to see the Jets took advantage of Cleveland not having their wide receivers. However, the Jets did outplay New England the first time these guys played. So I could certainly see them saying, you know what? Even when we were playing bad, we should have beaten these Patriots. I'll pass the game.
All right, Steve, the next game, it's the Minnesota Vikings. They are laying 6 points at the Detroit Lions. Total in this one is 54.
Don't know if Matthew Stafford is going to play, be a 3.5-point downgrade to Chase Daniel. Obviously, the disruption with all the coaches catching COVID and having that week last week where they were complete and utter no-show. I'm going to pass the game.
So the issue is Dalvin Cook won't play in the game because his dad passed away. So that's why this line has moved. There's a lot of uncertainty with what the Lions are going to do, in particular what Matthew Stafford's going to do. But that Vikings passing game, you can count on it. And the Lions just got shredded. So I'll go 1 unit Minnesota laying the 6 points.
Ross, the Atlanta Falcons are getting 6 points at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a total of 50.
In fact, by the way, I'm going back, Brian. I'm putting 2 units on it. 2 units on the Vikings. Make sure Sean Grady, our awesome Australian, Sean Grady, make sure you put me down for 2 units, Vikings minus the 6. What do you got, Brian?
Falcons and Bucks. Once again, Falcons getting the 6 points at Tampa Bay, total 50.
Yeah, I got to pass this game. At this point, I'm kind of going back and forth. The Bucks have looked awesome, but Atlanta has really – they should have beat the Chiefs. So I just don't know what to expect. I'm passing.
Yeah, I think Atlanta had an all-in strong effort against Kansas City. I got to tell you, it seemed like when these teams just played 2 weeks ago, the Bucks were down 17-0.5, and then they said, forget this running. We're just going to go ahead and throw with great success. And I think we're going to see more what we saw in the second half of that first meeting. I'm on Tampa, 2 units minus 6.
Steve, the Baltimore Ravens are laying 13 points on the road at Cincinnati. The total in this one is 44.
So the Ravens, the book on them is they are certainly a bully. When they're a big favorite, they tend to win big. And frankly, this team is playing very well. Recently was 4 straight wins, including that game of the year win at Cleveland. But their other wins were blowout wins. I will lean to Baltimore. I don't want to lay 13, though.
Yeah, Cincinnati's playing too well right now for me to lay 13 against them. I think the Ravens probably cover. I'll lean Baltimore, but I don't want to lay 13 against Cincinnati the way they're playing. What I do like in this game is the over 44.5. The Bengals defense is terrible, and I think the Ravens put up a bunch of points, and I think the Bengals offense has actually been decent. Brandon Allen, they had 500-some yards against the Texans. So over 44.5, 2 units for me.
Next game, Ross, the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Bills laying 1 point. Total is 44.
Too much uncertainty here. Too much uncertainty as to when they're going to go ahead and put Fitzpatrick in the game. A little too much uncertainty on the Bills and how they play their guys. I do like Miami, though, as a possible teaser leg. You said Miami's getting 1.5, right, Bri?
I'm showing 1.
1. All right, well, that's an interesting teaser leg to tease them up to +7 potentially, but I'm going to pass. I would lean Buffalo. I think they want to keep the momentum going.
Ross, has Tua been announced as a starter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm on Buffalo, 2 units. I don't get this line at all. I understand a savvy team that's been to the playoffs year after year. Maybe they say, you know what, whether I'm the 2 seed or the 3 or the 4 really doesn't matter this year, and I might rest my starters. But Buffalo, this is a historically good year. Buffalo's as good as they've been in 20 years. And I think they're eager to get even another win and finish the year 13-3. I got a quarterback from Hawaii that played at Alabama that now is going to go to rain and sleet and snow in the 30 degrees in the wintertime. And frankly, he doesn't look 100% and he hasn't been playing well anyways. And I got a Buffalo team playing as well as any team in the NFL. I'll lay the one, Bills 2 units.
All right, Steve, the Jacksonville Jaguars are getting 14 points at the Indianapolis Colts. Total is 49.
All right, so I'm going on Jacksonville this week. I think a fundamental change throughout the organization. You had to question, do they have any motivation to win against the Bears? Well, now they've got the number 1 pick. So there's no reason we won't see a good effort from Jacksonville against a team whose defense is leaking oil and a team that's probably going to be scoreboard watching in the second half and maybe lose their focus. Jacksonville gets in the back door, 2 units, Jaguars.
Wow. That's interesting, Steve. Very interesting. I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you. Just 1 unit for me. I've got Jacksonville plus the 14. I think Glennon comes out. He's trying to play for a job for next year. I don't like that James Robinson isn't going to play, but I'll take the Jaguars as well, plus 14. Only 1 unit. It's a best bet.
The best bet.
The next game, Ross, it's the Packers and the Bears. Packers at the Bears, I should say. And Green Bay is laying 5 points in this one. Total is 52.
Going back and forth on this one quite a bit. There are times when I've thought Packers, times when I've thought Bears. I'll just lean Packers. I can't imagine Aaron Rodgers giving up that number 1 seed and that bye. I don't have a ton of faith in Trubisky in a big spot, but the Bears have just been playing really well lately. So it's just a lean to Green Bay for me.
You know, the Bears have been playing very well, but they've had really good situations as well. They got Houston without all their wide receivers in the cold. They got Jacksonville when Jacksonville had incentive to lose. And you nailed it, Ross. Critical that Green Bay gets the number 1 seed. There's a lot of warm weather teams that are contenders in the NFC. You want to play at home against the Tampa Bays and the like, against the New Orleans. So because of that, I would lean to Green Bay.
All right, Steve, the Tennessee Titans are 7-point favorites on the road in Houston against the Texans. Total is 56.
So I don't know what's going on with Watson with his injured hand, whether he's going to play or not. Without that knowledge, I'm going to go ahead and pass this game.
It sounds like he is going to play, but I'm going to tease the Titans down. I mean, Watson might be able to cover, might be able to play okay. They're not winning this game. So I am teasing the Titans down from, you said 7.5, right, Brian?
7.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't tease him down. I thought it was 7.5. So then I won't tease him down. I'll just pass this game. I'd probably lean Tennessee.
All right, then the next game, it's the Saints, who are 6-point favorites on the road at the Panthers. 47 are total.
Yeah, this is I don't like this game. I kind of like the Saints. I would lean to the Saints, but the Panthers have a way of hanging around, and 6.5 is too many for me against the Panthers squad that'll hang around.
So some questionable motivation in that the Saints can get the number 1 seed, but they only have about a 20% chance to have the opportunity because they need Green Bay to lose and they need Seattle to win. So they'll be distracted and wondering, is it worth it, the 1 in 5 chance to go all in this game? I'll say this, Carolina, team with brand new coaching staff, brand new quarterback, so much turnover in the roster. And we talked about early in the year, this was a team we might look to play later in the year. Well, Carolina's 4-1 against the spread, playing their best football. I could only look towards Carolina, lean Carolina.
All right, Steve, the Chargers and the Chiefs, where the Chargers, 3-point favorites with a total of 44. Obviously, Chiefs are resting everybody.
Yeah, so I'll lean to the Chargers in this game. I think the team is very excited. They've finally figured out how to win close games. But the market is well aware of the fact that Kansas City may well just mail this game in completely. I would lay 3 or less. I'm not laying 3.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I think Chad Henne's gonna go out and play well. I think even the Chiefs, there's only so many guys they can sit, right? Like there's only so many guys that they can't play in the game. And even their other receivers like Pringle and Hardman, Demarcus Robinson, they're good. And I think Chad Henne's going to go out and play pretty well. I wouldn't be shocked if the Chiefs win the game, but I think I like the number. I like getting the 3.5, 2 units on the Chiefs, getting the 3.5 points from the Chargers.
Next game, Ross, Seattle and San Francisco. The Seahawks laying 5 points with a total of 46.
So kind of going back and forth on this one as well. Seahawks obviously still have an outside shot at the number 1 seed. San Francisco been pretty good against divisional opponents, really good against divisional opponents. This would be a lean to San Francisco for me because there's a chance, depending on what happens in Green Bay and in New Orleans, in those games that Pete Carroll starts to pull guys. So I am going to just pass this game. It's a lean San Francisco.
I'm going to go ahead and play San Francisco for 2 units. I think that the 49ers are undervalued. Their underlying stats are good. If you look at the performance on the scoreboard, it doesn't look good recently, but wowza, turnovers, Washington, -2, Dallas, -4. Even last week, if you look at a pure stats, yards per play, they crushed Arizona. And so in those games, the scoreboard is not painting the same picture as the underlying performance of how well the Niners are playing. I am worried about the Niners have been in Arizona forever, and they grinched Christmas, didn't have one. Does the team rally for one last effort, or are they just upset about the fact that this has been the worst December of their lives? I'm still going to look at the Niners here. Just 1 unit. Make 1 unit on the Niners.
All right, Steve. Vegas at Denver. The Raiders, 2-point favorites. Total is 50.
Really surprised that the Raiders are actually laying here. I don't trust Denver's secondary at all, though. The Raiders certainly going to be able to put up points. I'm not sure Denver can keep up with them. I'll still lean with Denver, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna tease the Broncos up to +8. I think Denver, one thing they do is they keep games close. So I'm going to tease the Broncos up to +8, and I'm going to do that with the Philadelphia Eagles. So Eagles are getting 2 points. Is that what you have, Bri?
Eagles, I'm showing 1.5.
All right. This is really annoying me, by the way, Steve. This different lines on DraftKings based on where you are right now, but whatever. I'll go Denver plus the 2 up to +8, and I'll go Philadelphia +1.5 up to +7.5. 2 unit, 2-team teaser. Broncos up to 8, Eagles up to 7.5.
All right, the next game, it's the Cardinals and the Rams, where I'm not showing any total on this one, but we do have the Cardinals -1, Ross.
Yeah, I like the Cardinals a lot. Cooper Kupp on the COVID list. He tested positive. He's out for the game. Goff out for the game. Kyler Murray scheduled to practice today. Give me 2 units on the Arizona Cardinals laying the 1 point.
Yeah, sure sounds right to me. I will agree with Ross's analysis. You know what? We don't trust Goff, but his backup, Wolford, is I am rated as my worst backup quarterback in the NFL. So if Murray can play at all, Arizona should be able to win the game. Arizona 2 units.
All right, in the final game, Steve, it's Sunday Night Football. The Washington football team, they are laying 1.5 points against the Eagles in Philadelphia with a total of 43.5.
Yeah, very interesting. So Philly against the Cowboys, Andy Dalton hasn't thrown for more than 8 yards per pass play all year long. He got almost 13 against that Philly secondary, or what's left of it. So given that, I cannot trust the Eagles at all. But if Alex Smith can't go, you've got a totally unproven Heineke, who frankly did look good in the fourth quarter. That's going to keep me off the Eagles. I'll pass.
Yeah, I already mentioned it. I am teasing the Eagles up to plus 7.5. I think Sunday Night Football, everybody watching, I don't think the Eagles want to have the Washington football team win the division on their field. I don't know if they'll get it done and win the game, but I do think it'll be a close game. Give me Philadelphia teased up. And by the way, that Arizona Cardinals, that is officially a best bet. So we had best bets on the Jaguars and the Arizona Cardinals. We went head-to-head on Dallas and the New York Giants. That'll do it for week number 17 in the NFL here on the Even Money Podcast. Don't forget, we'll be with you all the way through the playoffs every step. And by the way, the playoffs, there'll be less games to break down, so we'll be able to get to some of your questions. Still have questions from guys like Bill and Andy, as well as Todd, that we haven't been able to get to during the season. We will rectify that starting next week. Other than that, we're done. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money this weekend.
Thanks for listening to the Even Money Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, the Fantasy Feast, Business of Sports, and the College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, rosstucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.